Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast and to another live match reaction. This live match reaction is going to be very brief. If you want to know my thoughts on the game that has just gone, you're going to have to go and watch the live match watch along of the entirety of this Astana 1 Chelsea 3 game. 5 wins from 5 in the Europa Conference League, 6 wins on the bounce, which I believe is our best run since 2022, our best run of form in 2 years. Fairly easy game. We've swept aside another European team that realistically we should have swept aside. And I think that is arguably Chelsea's poorest performance in the Europa Conference League so far. I think Servette's second leg, neck and neck between this and Servette in the second leg. I was very disappointed with a few of the performances, particularly in the second half. Players being very, very selfish, players trying to better and further their own agendas rather than for the better of the team. But at the end of the day, I don't want to sit here and moan and be negative. It's 5 games from 5. It's a game that, we've won comfortably with the majority of our youngsters on the field. Conference League progression was already pretty much a given, but now it is officially confirmed. We are through to the next stage, the round of 16 of the Europa Conference League, and that will resume on, I think we've got Shamrock Rovers next week, but that will resume March 22nd. So we've got a nice break now to prepare ourselves for those knockout games, which may be a little bit more difficult than what we faced so far. But today, Mark Gu, the main positive, I think, taken from today. There were 3 main positives, I think, from today. The main negative being that we failed to keep a clean sheet again. It's another team that we really shouldn't have let have a sniff, really should be beaten 6-7-0. Would like to have seen us gone out and score more goals than stat pad, but at the same time, I said before the game, I would rather that we, did the business early, shut up shop, got that clean sheet, protected what we had. We didn't do that. Albeit it was a fantastic goal from Tomasov, and he had a couple of hits in the second half that could well have crept in. Jorgensen made one good save, in particular from a long range hit from Tomasov. But on the whole, very well controlled from the Chelsea team. I think at the back, particularly, my main standout today, my man of the match was Achimpong. Actually, you know what? I think man of the match, you've got to give Gu for his 2 goals, but Achimpong, I think, was my best performer today. It's been a while since we've seen him in the Chelsea side due to contract negotiations, contract problems, lack of clarity on his, clear career progression, his path, his development path. Great to see him back, and he looks like he's slotted into this Chelsea side. He looks like he's further ahead than quite a few of those other players. Amper came on, his touch looked fairly poor. George, commentators said George was good today. George was not good today. If anybody has watched Tyreek George for the under-21s, they will know Tyreek George's performance today was poor. Not just mid, poor. I expect so much more from Tyreek George because I know what he's capable of. This is a player that, I mean, he's on his day, he's able to get into, the first team. And physicality was a big issue today. I think, it's difficult to throw them into a situation where it's minus 10 degrees. You're playing against, a Kazakhstani first team, big, strong physical players. I think Tyreek George struggled today. Raksaki, I thought, was positive on the whole. I think there were, his game wasn't as tidy as it has been for the under-21s, but I think, on the whole, he held up. He did very well today, gave a very, very good account of himself. Achimpong similarly gave a very, very good account of himself in first team football. But Tyreek George, I was disappointed with today. And the only reason I say that is because this is a player I rate incredibly highly. And I think he should be doing far more than he was tonight. I think his decision-making was poor. I think that goes all round for Chelsea going forward tonight. I think Chelsea players were so selfish. After that 3rd goal went in, Chelsea fans that hate Madueke for being selfish, did any of you watch that? And what did you think? Because Amper didn't pass the ball. George didn't pass the ball. Chukwuemeka didn't pass the ball at times. And when he did in the second half, nobody was getting on the end of it. I think, the less said about this, the better, to be completely honest. I think it's one of those games where we just take it as what it is. It's a win. It's a continuation of our good form. 6 wins on the bounce. I think it's 1 loss in 12 now for Chelsea. A qualification to the round of 16 confirmed. Like, I'm a big fan of this Chelsea team. I love this Chelsea team. I love the manager. I love what he's doing. The fact that he gave youngsters opportunities tonight was fantastic. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them don't get another opportunity again very soon, because for me, a lot of them didn't do nearly enough. They weren't nearly selfless enough, too much trying to put yourself in the headlines, trying to make yourself the guy that everyone's looking to. And yeah, that's not part of this Chelsea squad. You look at the A team and they're all happy to feed each other, happy to help each other. If it means sacrificing a goal to get an assist, they're more than happy to do it. But you look at that B team today, and while I've been saying it's good that it's healthy competition, you took a few of those healthy competitors out, put a few of the youngsters in. Soon, all of a sudden it's, I need to score to make my mark. I need to be the one to grab the headlines. All of a sudden people stop passing, the game gets clunky, you lose all style of identity. Yeah, I was not a fan of that second half. It was not enjoyable to watch. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, need him out my club, need him to leave. Don't get why he gets it minutes. I don't understand what is positive about. I don't understand why people rate him. I don't get it. He's Conor Gallagher without the stamina. He's Conor Gallagher without the work rate. He's equally as poor on the ball, if not worse. Hasn't got a creative bone in his body. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and whinge because we've just won 3-1 and we've got qualification to the UEFA Conference League. Dewsbury-Hall stunk up the gaff. Multiple players on that pitch stunk up the gaff, but none stunk it up more than Dewsbury-Hall. Yeah, I don't really know why we bought him. I said that from day dot. It seemed like a strange purchase with Chukwuemeka, Casadei. I think Chukwuemeka will be gutted today to have come off and not finished the game, and then Dewsbury-Hall finishes the game. I'd be fuming if I'm Chukwuemeka. I would leave. I'd go to Enzo Maresca after the game and say, you know what, mate? Yeah, I'm done. This ain't working for me. If you want to put these players above me in the pecking order, that I can understand. The whole Josh Achimpong thing with Reece James, Malagusta, you've got two world-class right-backs there. Potential. One world-class, one potentially world-class right-back there ahead of you. So I can understand why you might be concerned about your path to progression. But Carney Chukwuemeka is being kept out of this team by a bum that cannot even complete a 15-yard pass. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is the worst player I've ever seen in a Chelsea shirt. Hands down. There is not a single attribute to this guy I like. There's not a single thing this guy does well. He stinks up the gaff every time he plays. I hate him. I think the fact that we're so entrenched and so embedded in, he's an English player, so he must be good. Get rid of him. As I said in the live match watch along, and as I said multiple times before, Maresca said that he brought him in because he knows his system. He understands the way that he plays. He looks like the only player on that pitch that don't have a fucking clue. And I'm not talking about don't have a clue about Maresca. Don't have a clue how to play football. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, I am a better footballer than Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I would play better in this Chelsea team than Dewsbury-Hall. Any one of my two brothers, my dad, probably my dead granddad, would all play better in the 10 than Dewsbury-Hall. I don't get it. I do not understand. The guy stinks. The guy is shit. How he gets in this Chelsea team. And the worst thing for Chukwuemeka today is the only reason Chukwuemeka started is Casadei was suspended. If Casadei is not suspended, if Casadei doesn't get that second yellow against Heidenheim, he starts today alongside Dewsbury-Hall and Chukwuemeka doesn't get a look in because it's Dyer and it's Raksaki on the bench and Chukwuemeka's just pushed to the side. But honestly, if I'm Chukwuemeka, if I'm Dyer, if I'm Raksaki, I'm going into Enzo Maresca's office. And I'm saying, if you pick this guy over me, I'm fucking gone, mate. I am not standing for this shit. Look, there's tolerance, and then there is putting up with ridiculousness, putting up with idiocy, putting up with mediocrity at its finest. Any Chelsea player, there is not a single Chelsea player that can't chat to Dewsbury-Hall. Dewsbury-Hall can't chat to any of the under-18s, can't chat to any of the under-21s. Dewsbury-Hall is so much worse than everyone else in this Chelsea squad. I hate him. I genuinely don't understand how he gets positive rate. They rated him on FootMob 8.3. And I expect that rating to go down because I think when you look at the game as a whole and you think, oh, you know what, he was actually pretty fucking shit. One assist, he got, you know what, actually, it makes more sense as to how Saka gets all these positive ratings because Dewsbury-Hall, absolutely stunk up the gaff for 90 minutes, put one corner in, got that assist, and he's been rated an 8.3. So you know what? I understand how Saka gets positive ratings now, because Saka is as meaty, if not worse, than Dewsbury Hall. I can't lie. But Dewsbury Hall is just a player that I do not understand what, where, why his position in this Chelsea squad. Get rid of him in January. Fucking don't even let him see a full season out, man. He does my head in. And the fact that we're putting him over players with great potential and great futures, like Chukwuemeka, it does my head in. Like, genuinely does my head in. I did not enjoy watching that second half. Every substitution that was made that wasn't Dewsbury Hall coming off, I did not enjoy. And this is the most negative, I think, match reaction that I would have done all season. Even worse than the Crystal Palace one that I did from a fucking hotel in Geneva. This performance today, there was so much potential for these Chelsea youngsters to go out and flourish and do bits, and, you know, great first experience away in Kazakhstan, getting our first goal or first assist. But they were all just selfish, trying to grab the headlines, trying to be that guy. It was a half-hearted, incomplete, clunky Chelsea performance. But we still won 3-1. We still looked fairly unfazed. We have a 100% record in the Conference League, 5 games from 5. We are 6 wins on the bounce. We've ended Astana's 13-match home unbeaten run. We have lost 1 game in 12. There's positives to take from tonight. The fact that I wouldn't even call it a C team. I'd call it a D team tonight. The fact that our D team was able to go into a European competition, let's just leave it at that. Our D team was able to play in a European competition and virtually not get out of second gear and still comfortably win. Look, there are positives to take. Achimpong, Raksaki being the main ones. Obviously, Mark Yu as well. I thought his first goal was fantastic. Very, very well taken goal. You know, lucky to get his name on that second one rather than it being an own goal. But yeah, positives to take. It is far from our worst performance. You know what? I lied. It may be our worst performance this season, but even so, that shows you how far this Chelsea team has come. Our worst performance by a long stretch this season, and we've still won 3-1 in a European competition. So anybody that wants to chat about Conference League, wants to diminish our achievements, you're more than welcome to try. This Chelsea team is on the up. 6 wins out of 6. Going into a nice run at the end of the year. We got Brentford at the weekend. I'm going to put a short out fairly shortly, but then Brentford at the weekend. You'll have a Chopping Out with Charms episode tomorrow. And then, yeah, Brentford on Sunday. We'll be bringing you live match preview and a live match reaction as well. No live match watch along. I might do a little something on the TikTok. But yeah, whatever you do, like, subscribe, comment on the video. It is a live video. Get your man of the match shouts in. Get your thoughts in. How long does Dewsbury Hall last? Does he last until January? Does he last until the summer? Do we just cancel his contract tomorrow? I personally would take the latter option. But yeah, whatever you do, make sure to follow @2blues podcast on the Instagram, on the TikTok, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we will be back tomorrow with some more football content.